Welcome back, Raider Nation. This is your boy, Raider Joe. I'm back at it again. Before I start, I want to talk about last week. I didn't really record last week. I had a whole planned out video of John Gruden and why he should be released as head coach. Not because of the emails, more so about how terrible he's been as a coach. I wanted to talk about what he's done for us in the past, what he's done for us in the future, which is hardly nothing. But I didn't get the opportunity simply because we lost that opportunity when all those emails came out and a bunch of havoc and chaos came out. So that's why I kind of skipped on doing a video as far as the Denver Broncos game. I'll try not to do it in the future, but I kind of got derailed from doing my actual video that I wanted to do because I had to add more in such a small time frame and I didn't have that opportunity. We're on to week 7. We are talking about Philadelphia Eagles and what are the potential threats, what we need to do better. This is just a preview of the game and my thoughts and my opinions on what's going to go on in the game. Now we're thinking about the Philadelphia Eagles and we're looking at the NFC East and thinking that they're not actually a threat, but in reality, every game that they lost, they've been very close. They played Tampa Bay and they were very close to winning that game as well. I just think they don't have the firepower to actually go against Tampa Bay. So I wouldn't really sleep on this game. I don't want to sleep on this game at all. I think they are a potential threat. They are not a shitty team by any means. They can compete with everyone. They're just because they're 2-4 or whatever, 2 and whatever, they're still a good team overall. They're not like your Denver Broncos. They're not hiding behind the fact that they won 3 straight and then they lost another 3 or 4. It's more so they just don't have all the pieces. They do have players. They do have a scheme. They do have a system in place. They have dangerous weapons. They have Jalen Hurts. They have Devontae Smith. They have almost the same type of stuff that we have. So it's a dangerous team that you want to, they're on the uprise. They're just not there yet. You have Miles Sanders on top of it. And I heard that the Eagles fans are traveling to Las Vegas, trying to take over our stadium. So that could be another potential, this wouldn't happen in Oakland type of deal. But we're moving on to Vegas. But if the Raiders come out and play like they did against the Denver Broncos, Philadelphia Eagles don't have a chance. They really don't. Everyone played lights out. Everyone from top to bottom played lights out. There's a little bit things I can critique here and there. But more so the offensive line, again, I don't see an opposing threat on their defense. They have a couple of players on their defense, overall threat, but not so like your TJ Watts. They're not like your Khalil Macks. They're not like your Joey Bosa's. They're not that disruptive. They're disruptive. They're NFL players, but they're not like, game changers, if that makes any sense. The offensive line is scary at times. We picked up a right tackle, DJ Fluker, in free agency. We lost a tight end and Derek Carrier, which is not that very big, but it kind of is. We run a 3 tight end set to actually pick up the blocking the offensive line can't do. So it is significant. Now I saw that one of the beat writers, don't want to say his name, says maybe we should pick up Lee Smith for a 6th-round pick. First of all, a 6th-round pick is high for Lee Smith, and he's like in his 30s. That's too high. Second of all, you got Tyler Eifert and Burton out there as well. Why would you even do that when you have 2 capable free agents out there anyways? If you wanted to pick up a tight end, or if they believe they don't have what they have in the building already, then why waste your time? Why waste your time with picking up someone that knows the system? To that one beat writer that was talking about Greg Olsen calling a certain way and how he used to call. First of all, he wouldn't call the same plays that he called, earlier in his tenure with Dennis Allen. He wouldn't do that. Let's make some sense here. Second of all, if we watched the last game, it was more so Derek Carr's play calling than Greg Olsen's. Greg Olsen's gave the suggestions. Derek Carr took over that game as far as calling the plays. I saw that. Maybe we need to watch the film a little bit more before we tweet out stuff. I'm just saying, we're not paying attention as beat writers and writers in general, just posting anything and not actually doing, looking at the all 22 like I did. It was all Derek. Derek was calling every one of those plays besides, I'd say, a handful, maybe 10 at tops. But all that was on Derek Carr, and that's why it's making him so special. He knows Gruden's play calling more than anybody, but he wants to put his little flavor on it, and I think Derek's doing a great job as far as knowing what situation that I am in. The problem with Gruden was he thought running the ball on 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1 was a great idea. Derek doesn't see it that way like we see it. Set up the run through the pass, not set up the pass through the run. It's a new game, it's a new time, it's a new era. I think Derek Carr calling the plays was a lot better off for the team on the offensive spectrum. Not only is it just better play calling, it is relevant play calling, and it's just more effective overall. So hats off to Derek Carr in the way he's playing, but not only the way he's playing, he's actually coaching the game like a Peyton Manning. So hats off to him, hats off to the whole offense, hats off to the whole team for last week's performance. They're going to need to do this performance every week, not just 1 week. So hopefully they're not too high on themselves. Hopefully they don't let their ego get too high after last week's game. You only beat the Denver Broncos. We need to beat the better teams. We all know Denver is not that team. We need to go back to the Chargers and demolish them. We need to go back to Kansas City and demolish them. We can't get too high on ourselves right now. We're moving. And they're calling this one a must-win. I don't see it as a must-win, but yes, every game should be a must-win. I don't understand that must-win category. Every game should be a must-win game, not just one game. It sounds stupid when you call every week a must-win game. Of course it is. You're trying to make the playoffs. I don't understand when people say that. But going on to my little critiquing stage and what we should do a little bit better, Carr is back playing like his MVP caliber. The way that he was playing before these 2 losses. I think the Bears game was a distraction game simply because they already knew the emails were coming out and we quite didn't know the magnitude. I'm pretty sure Gruden told them, and of course that wasn't released until later on. He probably told everybody everything that he said. I mean, he wanted to be an open book. But looking back at that game, watching the All 22, and seeing that their overall body chemistry, their body language, you've seen something was wrong there. So now you look at the Denver game and they're through the roof with energy. So it might have been a great thing for him to resign because they definitely needed a spark, and we saw the spark last week. But my critiqueness would be actually getting an established running game. We saw bits and pieces. We saw Drake getting the ball. We saw Josh Jacobs getting the ball. Just more yards out of that would be a little bit of critiquing, getting Waller the ball a little bit more. But Carr is moving the ball around like, Steve Nash passes the ball around like a point guard, making sure everyone touches the ball, making sure everyone gets their stats. Hats off to Derek Carr. He's done a great job as far as being the general and point guard. He's doing a great job at that. My other critiquing would be on the defense, and it's more so the cornerback, and it was due to injuries. There's a lot of injuries with the cornerbacks. Mullen, does he get his job back when he comes back? I believe Faison is going to he might be able to take over that job. Does Mullen get his job back if Faison has another interception this week? Does he get his job back because he's a number 1 pick? I wouldn't. I don't think Gus Bradley's going to give him his job back after, last week and say this week he performs like he did last week. I don't think anyone would argue with him about the fact that Faison should have the starting role rather than Mullen. Mullen's been out. He needs to get healthier. Hey, Faison might take your job. You better hope he doesn't ball out this week. Hopefully the defensive line comes out with their normal. Hopefully they're still on a rampage like they have been on a rampage. So continue to be on that rampage. Continue to create havoc with Max Crosby. Continue to have Yannick. Continue to have everyone involved. It's going to make it extremely difficult for the Philadelphia Eagles, if we come out like we did last week on the defensive line with Max Crosby creating havoc and then also having the rest of the players contribute like they were doing last week. We actually got interceptions last week, which I'm a defensive back guy. I like, Moreg, I like Abram, I like all these guys back there. I can't get enough of it. So when I get interceptions, I get ecstatic. So Faison is really high on my book right now because he got his first game, he got an interception. So that makes me really happy. And then if he does it again this week, I don't see why Mullins Jr. gets his job back. I really don't, unless it's favoritism because he's a number 1 or 2 pick. I can't remember. I really wasn't high on the pick to begin with. I'm really not high on him 100% anyways. The pick he got this year through Big Ben was a good job of tracking the ball, but comparison of the interceptions, Faison read the ball and reacted. Mullins just traced the ball and tracked it down as far as chasing after it because Big Ben overthrew it. It was a good job either way, but I'm more impressed by Faison right now with his length and also his reaction time. You need guys on the defensive backside to read and react better, and I think they did a great job of it last week. But we definitely come up with a win this week. I don't see how we don't unless we have a catastrophic meltdown, but I don't see that happening, especially at home. I don't see that happening at all. I at least see the Raiders winning by 7 in this match, at least at the very bare minimum, but they might come out like they did last week and completely destroy Philadelphia. And that will let me know where the Raiders really are. The identity is seeming to be a passing offense, so let's see if they continue that or they maybe say, hey, let's try to run it even though we can't because their offensive line is that bad. Here's an interesting side note. There's going to be a lot of Alabama players, not only on the Raiders, obviously, but on the Eagles as well. So there will be a lot of competition. So a lot of chirping, a lot of back and forth, maybe a lot of penalties because of all this sportsmanship, flags that we've been getting of late. And them not knowing that they're friends and stuff like that. We'll see what happens there, but it should be interesting overall game to watch because there will be a lot of chirping back and forth. Devontae Smith and Henry Ruggs are friends. And I'm sure the rest of the guys are friends as well, like Josh Jacobs, Leatherwood. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of back and forth with Hurts as well. So it should be very interesting. So a couple of things to watch out for the Eagles, things that you might not be thinking of. First is they got rid of Zach Ertz, so they got 2 other guys that they're really high on. First guy is Dallas Goedert. He's been contributing pretty well there. Decent tight end. He's like a Dallas Clark, if y'all know who that is. But a Dallas Clark, he's a possession type of tight end, not like a Waller. There's another guy that they're really high on. They just want him to be more consistent, and his name is Tyree Jackson. Tyree Jackson, to them, reminds them of Darren Waller. So if that is somewhat true, they're going to be testing the waters. Be on the lookout for that one. So watch out for Tyree Jackson for Philadelphia as a tight end. He sounds like he's an actual wide receiver / tight end type of deal. So make sure he doesn't burn us during the game. So watch out for that name. Also look out for Javon Hargrave. He has 6 sacks already, so that's more than Max Crosby has. And also, Darius Slay. He was a big pickup this offseason. He's a baller. We all know that. He hasn't quite hit his groove yet, but some can beg to differ. But I'm just saying those are names to look out for as far as Philadelphia goes. So overall, the Raiders win. We still get the dub at the end of the day. It's just hopefully our mindset is still we got to win. We got to win. The job's not finished. As Derek Carr said on his last post, job not finished. A la Kobe Bryant. That's what he's talking about, obviously. Mamba mentality, you know how he is. So, job's not finished. If any of those Raiders players see this at all, the job's not finished. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and share to any other Raider Nation or anybody that enjoys football overall. Share to an Eagles fan. I don't care. But either way, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. I got that John Gruden video on the way. I haven't quite finished it yet because of the emails. But regardless, Raider Nation, I'm out.